And here's the thing, it would be an unpopular opinion because the Coaches Association would not be for this because they're not for shortening it. But for me personally, what I think would be best for kids and what I would enjoy is 8-game regular season, 16 teams in the playoffs. And then at some point, if you want to play 10 games, you can still play 10 games.
614 Headsets is proud to be powered by Fundraising University-Ohio. Coaches, are you tired of slow, complicated, and outdated fundraising? Then it's time to level up with Fundraising University, the fastest, easiest, and most effective way to raise money for your high school football program. With Fundraising University, you'll run technology-driven fundraisers that are safe for your athletes and simple for your supporters. No hidden fees, no tipping models, just clean, honest fundraising that delivers results. Using our signature Blitz process, your team can launch a successful fundraiser in just 60 minutes. And get this, you'll receive your profit check within 1 to 2 days. No more waiting weeks or months. We offer it all, digital and hard copy discount cards and tickets, plus fan favorites like popcorn, coffee, beef sticks, and cookie dough. Every product ships straight to supporters' homes, no handling or deliveries for your athletes. And with our text-to-donate platform, your reach goes nationwide. And above all, safety. Every fundraiser is built to be safe and secure for your athletes and supporters because that's something you as a coach can't afford to overlook. Coaches, if you're ready to dream big and raise more and want a professional fundraising coach who brings energy, connection, and results, then contact Fundraising University and Brent Maxwell today. Let us take fundraising off your plate and put money back in your program. Visit fundraisingletteru.net or call Brent at 740-501-8946. Fundraising University. Dream big, raise more.
It's a good win. There's a lot of people. It's like Woodstock, except everybody's got their clothes on.
But eat a damn snack.
You're like my wife when you get in space. You just get lost.
It's a hat! Short steps are better than long steps. That's the only time in your life you're going to hear short is better than long. It's a hat!
The boys had a nice break last week, but we're glad to be back. Welcome back to 614 Headsets. We're your weekly sports football podcast where we say strategy meets story. If it's your first time hopping on, we're 3 high school coaches from Columbus, Ohio, committed to bringing you great content that's both entertaining and educational. It's summertime. I listened to the Coach Speak pod. They had a kind of cool little summer check-in. We had a week off, a much-needed week off. A great episode tonight, but summer check-in, guys. How we doing?
Life's good. I feel like for me, we're just rolling right now. We got back from vacation. I think the first week of being back from vacation is the worst week because you got to put all the clothes back away. You got to go grocery shopping. So, like, now that we've been 2 weeks out of it, it feels like we're rolling again in this house, finally. But other than that, football is great. Besides, this heat has been rocking my world the past 2 days. We practice 4 to 6:30. It's the hottest time of the day. And so it's just, we've been going. So you just give them 10 minutes water, 10 minutes on, 10 minutes off, 10 minutes on, 10 minutes off. And then today we could only practice for an hour and a half.
We ran into that a little bit before where it was like 10 or 15 minutes on, water break, and your max time was like an hour before.
Yeah.
It gets crazy when like you put a plan together and then you're like, you show up, you got to chop it up. A lot of times we've moved late, but we've been there and everybody's feeling it. When I saw record high today, possible records, I told my wife, it hit a lot. I'm not going back outside today. I've been in it for 2 days. I'm done for the day.
No yard work for Coach Stout.
I love that.
Backyard is what it is. It'll survive.
Me and him were on the phone yesterday. I'm going to say this. Kyle Stout and myself have earned to be an AC for a full day, no matter what.
Yeah. I was like, I worked this morning, a nice man day, clean the garage and all that. And then as I was like, I'm good. But I'm with you, man. Football's in full swing. You know, our team, we won the regional 7-on-7 tournament. We made the Final Four. All these practices going on. Everything's in full swing. Our 7-on-7's coming up, right? Yeah. With Coach Williamson and then Coach Page out Canal coming up. That's coming up soon. It
Donnie
definitely is here.
For Donnie. What are you doing, Donnie? You look like you're asleep over there, big kid.
He just got back from vacay too, man.
Got right back from vacation. Didn't take me 2 weeks to recover from it, unlike some people on the podcast. But I guess we're just all built. We're all built different. It's fine.
You don't have kids.
We're all built different. It's different. But excited to get back and rolling, except for the heat, like you guys mentioned.
I can't wait for Donnie's first vacation with this kid.
When they get older, when they're young, it ain't that bad when they're young. But hey, let me tell you, I had to take a double take yesterday. This guy came slithering into the 7-on-7. Donovan hasn't been to a 7-on-7 since last year. Okay.
Yeah.
Not even stop by, say hello, check out the squad. I'm like mid-game. I look over and there's Donovan. I'm like, what? And I'm going to blame Donovan because we have made every championship or won every 7-on-7 until this guy showed up. So it's Donovan's fault we didn't win.
Technically, we already won a championship, so I couldn't really have anything to do with it.
But I'm really excited for tonight. It's about a week or two late, but I think it's still very relevant. But Donovan, why don't you get into telling everybody what we're doing here on episode 85?
Yeah, so we had some big news in the world of Ohio high school football and Ohio high school playoffs with some of the recent changes the OHSA put out. So we thought who better to bring on and discuss with us about the changes and their thoughts and just all of our thoughts than Coach Nate Hillrich, head coach at Pickerington North High School. We're going to dive right in. I think I've seen a lot of mixed reviews and a lot of positive things, a lot of room for improvement, and we get to dive on into that with Coach Hillrich.
That's where I think, Kyle, you're saying, hey, it's a little late or something like that. I think that it gave us time to be able to talk to people, hear some people's answers, hear what people are thinking, because I was able to talk to a couple of other head coaches on the phone that, like, this does affect every one of us.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like it's not – I think it's perfect timing for this episode. I'm super jacked up.
Uncharted territories, and it had to be playoffs, right? That's the title, episode 85. We're talking playoffs? That's right, man. But to get that before – the bell of the ball, Mr. Hillerich comes on to talk football and maybe give some parenting tips to Donovan. Yeah. We got to rock some lockers here, right? Donovan, you're up. It's time for that max effort locker rocker. Football coaches, listen up. You spend hours in the weight room and on the field pushing your athletes to be their absolute best. But are they fueling their bodies with the right supplements to maximize performance and recovery? Max Effort Muscle provides safe, trusted, and effective supplements designed specifically for athletes, trusted by Division I strength coaches and top college programs across the country. Their lineup includes everything your team needs to train harder, recover faster, and perform at their peak, from whey protein, amino recovery, creatine monohydrate, and NDR hydrate.
Yeah, listen, everybody knows football is won in the trenches. Don't let poor nutrition be the weak link in your program. Reach out to them today and get your team on Max Effort Muscle. They work with any team, any size, any budget. Visit maxeffortmuscle.com and email Tyler Treadway. His email is treadway@maxeffortmuscle.com to learn more about team pricing, partnerships, and get a custom package made for your team for as low as $250. Yeah, it's time to get ready for this. And listen, we hinted at what the episode's going to be out. We're going to get into our different feelings and thoughts. A lot of changes, right? With the playoffs, there's going to be teams that are in that top four, teams that are outside of that top four, and have to watch and hear about what it's like to have a bye week. And if you have a bye week, it's going to be a ton of changes as a team, as a coach. None of us have had that experience. So throughout all those changes, throughout the changes that you're going to see going the last couple months of the summer into the season, I thought back to, I was trying to find a good quote to express this feeling. I thought back to my first 2-a-day practice coaching and first game, and how not nervous, but how anxious I was with the idea of this is real. I get to do this. This is awesome. And I always tried to keep a cool head, like us coaches always do, because the kids are the one watching us. So the quote I found was from General George Patton. It said, "All men are afraid in battle. The coward is the one who lets his fear overcome his sense of duty." So when you're going through the summer, when you're seeing an injury happen, you're seeing a practice plan change, you're seeing an opponent that you don't know if you're matched up for, you're seeing a team that maybe you're overlooking, you're where your kids are overlooking, playoff changes, don't let that fear or anxiety or distraction cloud you from what your sense of duty is. And that's to lead from the front, to be a leader at the front line of your unit, for your offense like Coach Stout, for your team like Coach Sayers, for your unit like me. Don't let that cloud your judgment and lead from the front.
And this guy's been doing some history.
Dude, I love General Patton, but I have two things. One, little known fact on my father's side. On my father's side, it's like great-great-grandpa served with General Patton in World War II in North Africa and won a Bronze Star.
Served with or served just in general?
I'm sure.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You get it, Sayers.
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay.
All right.
Don't diminish the man. Don't diminish the man and his legacy, okay? Two,
he didn't get it.
You hinted it was your first game, and I'm very busy in a lot of those. Was that the game that you decided to wear jeans to the game?
No, that
show
was
up and coach in jeans.
That was week 7 or 8 at Westerville Central.
That's a wicked move.
Black jeans, though.
Hey,
Black jeans.
I'd never seen somebody get just assaulted by a head coach more for their attire my entire life. He could have came out in pajama pants or shorts, but the fact that he came out in jeans, Bruce let him have it. So it wasn't game one. Okay, that's good to know.
No, it was not game one.
You're literally
I was
an unbelievable human to walk out a game field with jeans on, dog.
We went through black jeans. I came straight from work. I'm like, I gotta have time to change it.
Bag. He's the only coach that's ever commuted.
That's the only dude that I know that's ever wore a pair of jeans on a side.
I'm up against the wall, and Coach Ward looks at me. He looks up, and then he looks down. And he looks back up at me, and he goes, "Are you wearing jeans?" I'm like, "Uh-huh." And he's like, "If you ever do that again," and he's like, "you will never coach here again." I'm like, "Okay, not again."
I love it though. Lead from the front, General Patton. That's great, man. That's the max effort.
Don't wear jeans, not even for the black ones.
General Patton would have never wore jeans. All right, but we hope you love playoffs with Nate Hillrich.
We're right into it with our guy Nate Hillerich. Been on here before. Super excited. Nobody better to talk about the playoffs with. Obviously, this cat has made it to the playoffs multiple times in his career, have multiple playoff wins, and just super involved in the OHSAA and super involved with our coaches associations. I know he's talked to a ton of people about playoffs and what they think and different ideas. So super excited to hear those things. Nate, talk a little bit about where you're at, your journey, and what you're going to talk about today.
Yeah, head coach Pickerington North, going into my 9th year. I was at Hamilton Township for 7. So I've seen things change. I've seen it expand from 6 divisions to 7 when I was at Hamilton, and now went to the COVID year. Everybody got in, and 16 teams in the playoffs, and now we're to 12 where we have buys, and it's going to be a new game this year.
Completely different. I think it's exciting to talk about hypothetically what we'd all do, and we'll get there, the pros and cons and things. We appreciate you coming back on. We were on very early, right, when things were still a little rugged back then, but always been a big supporter, and we appreciate you. But we got some great questions. I think we even had the Pick 6 segment back the first time we had Coach on. So we got a whole new round of questions for him. So, Ryan, let's do this.
The best segment of them all, right? The Pick 6 segment is powered by Storied Rivals Sports Media. Championships, friendships, and life lessons are among the most meaningful parts of the athletic competition. We are passionate about preserving them by offering the most unique highlight experience available.
That's right. Storied Rivals delivers your team's content with services designed to change the way you experience these unforgettable moments now and for a lifetime. Storied Rivals now offers a complete team apparel and player shop customizable to your program. Contact us by email at info@storyrivals.com to schedule an appointment with a member of our team. And Storied Rivals was just got done being at your 707. They had a nice little sweet little highlight video, doing some extra effects and things. Now they've always been leveling up, doing great stuff. So
that big money at Pick North, they can pay anybody, man. They can have everybody out there. He got more cameras out there than players.
The factory over there. Let's go. What do you got for him, Ryan?
Coach, man, you have a couple kids. You have 2 boys and stuff. We have listeners that have their kids and stuff. So we're in the situation of figuring out when we're going to get Xavier to start playing football and stuff. I wanted to ask you, when do you think's the appropriate time? When did you realize you thought Ross might have been ready to play football, tackle football, and when you thought he was ready to be done with flag football? Just try to give us a little insight on that.
Yeah, the one thing I get that question a lot. I think the truth is football is safer than it's ever been. And I tell parents that all the time. The technology, the helmets, it is safer than it's ever been. I think every kid is different. And that's really the key. My oldest son, Ross, he's 12. We waited till 5th grade to let him play. My younger son, Wes, he just turned 9. We're going to let him play in the 3rd grade because he's a little more aggressive. So I think football fits him, where Ross, I wasn't sure right away. He's a quarterback, a little more finesse. So flag football fit him well, but it's safer than it's ever been. And I think it's tough for linemen. If you're a physical kid, flag football, they don't let you push. And the reality is flag football gets dangerous as well. As they get older and guys are running full speed and you're putting your head down, trying to grab a flag, it's dangerous. So I think you definitely got to play before 7th grade, just because Pickerington and Gahanna, we have 65 7th graders. So I think your first experience would be good to be in like a peewee or like a youth league like PYA, where there's only 15 kids on a team. It's a little more one-on-one coaching, where you go into the big pool of Gahanna or Pick North where there's 60 or 70 7th graders. It can be overwhelming, and then a kid might quit. But The great thing about football is I think if you don't play, you can come out later, 7th, 8th grade, but whatever works, I think, for your kid.
I like it. Coach, my first question for you, talk us through what it meant for you and the Pickerington community. I know it's several months removed now, but to watch the hometown hero, Jack Sawyer, make that play against Texas in the semifinals. Is that what it was? Yeah, the semifinals. So what did it mean for that community and I guess for your program watching that happen in real time?
Yeah, just the pride. I think anybody that knows Jack, and I know Kyle and Ryan know him real well, just a great quality person. The coolest thing there was, I think, I remember that night or even the next morning on Facebook, every young kid, the parents, I know so many people now in Pickerington, been here so long. After the play, they were posting pictures with their son at Roosters when they saw Jack, because Jack came up and took a picture with him, or at a football game on Friday night that he was at, that he came and took a picture. So just the impact he has, where everybody knows he's such a good person outside of just football. It was really cool to see.
Legend now, but it was awesome to watch, man. My heart was tore up after that Michigan game and everything that went on, and then to see everything come full circle for him is awesome. Just because obviously we all coached him and know, like what you said, type of player he is and guy he is. Coach Donovan here, man, he's having his first kid this fall, right? And I know you are a man of many elite dad hacks. I'll never forget you gave me the one where it's like, you always volunteer to go do the pickup order, right? You go there a little earlier, give yourself a little wind down time, have a nice cold beverage, right? So that's one elite dad hack. What's another elite dad parent hack you could impart on young Donovan here?
Yeah, the newborns are the easiest. I know if you listen to Coach Stout, it's the world's going to end anytime something happens. No one more dramatic. He had one kid. I was just having my third, and you'd have thought like the kid was running around and jumping into pools. But what's great is when they're young, they can't move. So I think like when they're first born, the best thing is that everybody wants to come visit your house. So you have time to be able to go, hey, your sister's coming over, your friends are coming over, I'm going to go hang out with my buddies. So it gives you some time to get away when they're first born. They're not moving a lot. They're sitting there. But yeah, I think it's nice and easy at first because you got so many people over, you can get out of the house.
And then chaos. That's what he's not telling you. But yeah, all right, there you go. That's good.
I love it. Coach Hillerich, going to throw this one off. This is going to be a different type of question for you. But if you had to choose one animal in this world that would represent you if you were an animal, what would it be and why?
Man, I'd probably go with a snake just because I feel like I can. I know that's a little, I just think I feel like I can get in and out of situations. I'm pretty smooth with some of the stuff I do. And I'm not saying a snake as in dirty or anything like that, but
I understand what you meant, Coach.
Yeah, Donovan knows.
I understand what you
went to Miami of Ohio. He's a smarter, intellectual, but that's what I'm thinking there. Just be able to move around, slide around, get into any situation I need. If I need to go into do whatever I need to do.
I like that. I think I might have taken like, what's that lizard that a gecko or so that changes colors or something like that.
I'm sure you would say a lion. I'm sure you would say you're like king of the jungle.
This guy said The Rock would play him last week in a movie in the Pick Six segment. So for sure.
Coach, my second question for you, it doesn't have to be a fast food restaurant, whatever you want. If you had to eat at one restaurant the rest of your life, it's the only restaurant. You can cook your own food and stuff like that, but you can't go to any other restaurant but one the rest of your life. What are you picking?
It's Chipotle, no question. It's the greatest. Makes you feel like you're healthy too. You get rice. You don't have any fried food. When I was in college, I ate it 3 or 4 times a week. So
it was like $5, man.
I swear, every time I'm on the phone with Hillerich, I'm picking up Chipotle real quick.
I do love Roosters too. Like Roosters actually would probably be if there was just
more variety.
Roosters is incredible.
Your gut might be done by like day 7 if it was.
Hey, did you hear them though? He's recommending Roosters again, just like at the Under Armour cap.
That's right, man. That was crazy, dude. These guys come in, they're used to like finding the sweet spots all over the world, and they ask you, "Where should we go, Nate?" And you say, "Roosters."
I actually texted Jason and called him after that because you guys put me on blast, made me look bad. The draft was on that night. That's what was real crazy. So they wanted to go watch the draft, have some beers, place to eat. They were in Pickerington. I wasn't going to tell them go over to the Ocean Club at Easton.
Gotcha. They gave you a certain parameter, you ran with it. Okay.
Absolutely. So,
all right. Well, I don't know, man. 1 minute you just said you're a snake. I don't know. Maybe you try, maybe you got a secret deal with Roosters. Who knows? But last question, Coach. Your pick right now, I know it's early, to win the college football national championship next season.
Clemson. I'm taking Clemson. I feel like the quarterback really good, and I feel like they're going to make the playoff, even though they got a tough opener. I think they play like LSU or somebody really good right away. But
been quiet for the last couple of years.
It's huge, and I think they get a lot of their D-line back. I think they have the best D-linemen. They're going to get out into the playoff from the ACC. If I was putting money down, if I was betting, I would put some money on them.
He already put some money on him.
Yeah, he did. Look at that.
You already know.
He's a betting man.
Whatever their over is, put it on there.
I like that. I thought a lot of people's been saying Texas, some others. It's good to see. It would be great to see Clemson be good again, be a powerhouse again. I think it helps college football and helps ACC.
I don't think Dabo can do it without my guy Venables, man. He can't.
Maybe better call him back up. He might be back in about a year.
He might be done soon, yeah.
That's true.
All right, let's get into this main thing here. Let's go.
We hint at it in the intro, but the main topic for tonight is all about playoffs. Big change. Yeah, Coach Stout does the voice better than I do. But all about the big change of the playoffs that happened a couple weeks ago. Of course, our main topic of the show is powered by First Down Playbook. First Down Playbook is the nation's leading playbook and play design software. With over 35,000 professionally drawn and editable team plays with notes and full playbooks start from, be on your way to getting an edge over the competition. First Down Playbook, your entire team management system with practice schedules, scripts, custom quarterback wristbands, and more. If you use the code HEADSETS25 or mention the show, you'll get 15% off what's already the most affordable option today's game. It's in our show notes, it's in our comments, it's on our social medias. Message us about it. You still got time. I know it's crazy. It's about to be July. With this system, if you wanted to make a change or you're just curious, you got time. And trust me, you have the resources to do it with First Down Playbook. So, Coach, diving right into this. So a couple weeks ago, this was announced that the Ohio high school playoffs were changing the format down from 16 teams to 12, with the first 4 teams, 1 through 4 seeds in the region, getting a bye. And then you follow the normal structure for, I think, 5 versus 12, 6 versus 11, so on and so forth. Talk to us. For me, when I was in high school, graduated in 2016, it was still 16 teams, but the regions were bigger. So your chances to make the playoffs weren't automatic necessarily. Talk to us maybe about your history of the change from why it even went to 16 at one point. If you had any background on that, kind of maybe what that was like when it not first changed, but when it had that last big change to 16 teams.
Yeah, so I'm involved with the Ohio High School Football Coaches Association. I used to be at Hamilton Township. I was the regional director for Columbus. Now I'm actually the second vice president. So I'll do that little term and then I'll be out of there. But what happened was the 8 teams it seemed like every year back in, let's just say 2016, when you graduated, there's a lot of really good teams that didn't get in the playoffs. I just think of Pickerington North, where I'm at now. In 2011, they had Pat Elfline, and all these guys. They went 8-2. Their losses were to Gahanna and Pick Central, and they beat some good teams. They beat like Lakota East, Princeton, some teams down from Cincinnati, but they didn't get in at 8-2. And I think they had a team that could have honestly had a chance to make a run and maybe win a state championship, and they didn't get in. They were the 9 seed. And I think what happened was a lot of the high school coaches were like, we shouldn't have teams that have really good years not get a chance to play in the postseason. So the Ohio High School presented the 12-team playoff, where they looked at the data from the years, and they're like, most teams that have 8 or 9 wins will get in the playoffs if we go to a 12-team playoff. So they proposed that, they passed it, and then what happened was COVID. And then with COVID, the season got shortened, and they just decided, well, let's let everybody in that year to the playoffs. Then the next year, Ohio High School Athletic Association decided, if we're playing 6 weeks in the playoffs now, why would we not just make more money and have 16 get in? And because they were hurting for money, so they added the 4 teams so that way they could help them out financially. And what has happened, I don't know how you guys followed it, but there was a senator that got involved up in Northeast Ohio, and they had a group. There was a couple podcasts. There was a lot of stuff. They went to the high school and they said, basically, the season is too long. And 16 weeks, when you really think about it for high school football, 16 weeks is a really long time. And I know you guys went to the Final Four. You're playing 15 games. We play 2 scrimmages. That's more than Ohio State plays last year, winning the
Yeah.
national championship. So that senator was basically said to the Ohio high school, if you don't shorten the season or do something, we're going to legislate things and make it happen. And I sat in on some of those meetings. So basically Ohio high school was like, they did this survey. They sent a big survey out to principals. And the thing that's crazy is they didn't even put 8 teams as an option on there. Cause I think most high school coaches, if you really look at it, would prefer to go back to 8 teams, but athletic directors and principals, they voted on the 12 teams. So that's what they went to. And me personally, I like 12 better than 16, just because I think it makes it better to get in the play. But I really don't 12 either, to be honest.
I'm going to ask you, Coach, like with the 12, the biggest thing is like the bye, right? Like the first round bye. Do you think that's a positive, a negative? Like, how do you look at the bye? How would you approach that if you were in that situation?
I don't even know. Like the thing too, not only the bye, I think about it last year in our region, in Division I, Region 3, Olentangy went 8-2 and didn't get in the playoffs. They were the 13 seed. And a lot of it can be determined if you play a couple teams like us. We're playing a really tough non-league schedule. We could lose some games. That's just the reality. And then you play all these teams and you lose games, and you play some teams that might not win a lot of games. You could not get in the playoffs now. There's a lot of things that we're going to find out. I think we have to see. But the bye, that is the big question. Obviously, you want to get the bye because you get to go to advance to the next week. But if you do get the bye, then it's like you said, what do you do to make things as...
Let's pause there, though. Let's just pause
hold on,
there.
I got one question. Hold on, Kyle.
Go ahead.
If the team gets the first round bye, hypothetically speaking, do they get to say that they got a playoff win?
No.
First round playoff win then?
No.
You moved to the second round. I'm just curious because if you got that first round bye, some teams haven't won a playoff game.
This is how Ryan's going to win his first playoff game.
We've never won a playoff game. Can I say it's a first round bye win?
I know what Ryan's wheeling here.
Yeah.
No, we were talking about that just as a staff joking around the coach's office the other day. Like
somebody will get a shirt made. Somebody will get a shirt made.
People were like, okay, what if someone does that? That's like
Yeah.
the people that made playoffs in COVID. Like some cats hung banners for that COVID year, like Northland High School.
Even now, that's the question. It used to be when you made the playoffs, it was a great year, especially when I was at Hamilton Township, even at Pick North. It's something that if you look in gyms, they have the years they made the playoffs. And now it's, when it was 16, it was like, all right, if you went 3-7, are you really doing playoff t-shirts? Because I think everybody, when we were in high school, for all of us here, if you went to the playoffs, you were probably getting a t-shirt.
For sure.
And that's
a big
not
thing
happening now.
Yeah, now, we don't do playoff shirts anymore just because he made the playoffs. I agree. But
back to 8, a lot of teams would go back to.
I think you would, but it was hard then. Like he just told you. Think how many good teams would have made it in. And Ryan, your region had a lot of good teams too, right? If it was back at 8. And for people who are listening in, there's a little bit of a discrepancy. So there's only 18 teams in Division I regions, but then you got like Ryan's region, some other regions which are like double the size. And so I've always said I didn't like the move to 16. Maybe make it proportional somehow to the regions and how many teams there are in there. But getting back to the bye, you just thinking about kids, do you want the bye? Like, obviously you want the bye from a rest standpoint, you like on the outside looking in, but us as coaches know, like kids are just get stuck in routines, man. And I don't know about you, but I feel like when routine changes on our kids, man, we don't do well with it. And so the bye to me is scary a little bit too, right? Like, how are you going to plan it? How are you going to do it? Like Ryan and I have talked hypothetically. We've talked. He's like, what would you do? I'm like, I don't know. I think you got to take a couple of days to get rested up, or maybe have a couple small practices. So you're working on you and working on fundamentals, but you don't really know who you're going to play yet. And you're going to have to attack it probably like a regular game prep week, but you're going to have to do some things to, 1, get healthy, and 2, stay in the rhythm of everything. I don't know. That's what my mindset would be. What about you, Nate? How would you attack it?
I think I would keep everything the same as you did the week prior. Like whatever your Monday schedule, if it was lift, film, I would try to keep the routine, like you said, exactly the same, and then give them probably Friday off. And then you'd adjust the practice, obviously. But the thing that's crazy too, you're talking about buys. These are high school kids, and that's the time that basketball tryouts are starting, wrestling. So you can't give kids days off. You can't be like, all right, take Monday off. Then kids will be in the gym at open gym.
Good point.
There's so many variables with keeping your kids locked in. And the kids that are ready for the season to end. Because the reality is, especially the bigger programs with big rosters, there's kids that they don't care if you lose. They're like, man, it's cold out here. I'm ready to start basketball season, or I don't want to miss basketball tryouts. I want to go to indoor box lacrosse or whatever it may be. So the routine is key. I would want the bye because I want to go to the next round. But if somebody was asking me, I would rather play a game right now.
Yeah, you hinted at it, right? I thought one of the interesting things we started to see as teams have moved, when we started to have the 16 teams, right? I started to see a lot more teams schedule big matchups, marquee games. You guys have done it. I think our philosophy has even changed a little bit to be like, let's just play the best and get ready for the playoffs a little bit, right? We're going to play Moeller next year as well. So and you just hinted at it, right? Hey, that's dangerous. Now moving down to 12, do you think we'll still see teams continue to have these aggressive matchups, or are we going to start to see people get more reserved a little bit now?
Scheduling is a whole nother conversation. I think everybody is so scared to play people, to be honest. And I just look at it. It's not like we were like, man, let's go be aggressive and play Ed's Ignatius 1-2 and Pick Central 3. It was teams won't play anybody. And it's not like they're scared to play Pickerington North or necessarily Gahanna, or whoever it may be. But I joke, we were playing Upper Arlington. We had a great little series with them, and they ended up playing Glenville. We played Ed's, and I was joking with Buttermore, hey, if we'd have just played each other again, one of us would have won this year. And it's just so hard to find games. And what was nice about 16, it was like, all right, you can lose some games and you feel fine. But I don't think anybody's ever willing to schedule somebody they think they can lose to.
Do you think part of the problem is our region, how it's just all sandwiched together? Has there ever been any talk on changing that Columbus region to divvy it up? Because there was one year we were going to see there was a chance we were going to see all the same teams we had already played on our schedule all the way through the playoffs, all the way to the regional final or the state final four.
They've done a couple things because and this is for some of the conversations that the Coaches Association has had with Ohio High School. What about just the top, let's just say there's 48 teams now make the playoffs with 12 from each. The top 48 teams make the playoffs, and then you can break the regions off by there. Because what will happen is in Ryan's region and Division II, they might have missed the playoffs, where if they were in a different region, they might have been the 9 seed. Like the one year we missed the playoffs at Pick North, we'd have been the 5 seed down in Cincinnati's region. So, a lot of people have said, why don't we just the top 48 get in, then you can break it off to make the drives shorter, how it works.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense. Somebody's going to get stuck,
especially, though. I would say for us, though, it's like we're playing the Massillons. There's Massillon Perry, Massillon Washington. Those schools are way farther than Columbus, to be honest. And for them to be so Northeast Ohio and be in our region is wicked to me, to be honest. Because, obviously, I feel like for us, there's so many teams down here in Central Ohio and closer in this area than really having the Massillon, Washington, the Perry, the Uniontown Lakes, all the people that are in the Federal League on the Northeast Ohio side.
Yeah, and the problem with that, there's really no easy way. All the population in Columbus now. You look up there, Massillon's D2, Canton McKinley, I think it's 1, but they bounce back and forth. There's not a lot of Division I schools outside of the 3 big cities.
So one thing, I think you guys were probably playing at this point, but do you remember, Nate, when the Division I, it was 1 or 2 years, they went to just 2 divisions. It was a North and a South, and it was the top, it was still top 8. So it was the top 16 in both of those.
That was when I was in high school.
Okay. Yeah. That was my first couple years coaching. I thought that was cool. Has there ever been a discussion to bring even that possibly back?
Yeah, no, and I think that's what Donovan was talking about earlier. His senior year, they did that, and I remember St. X beat Kaufman. St. X was a real. They got in at 5-5.
Yeah,
but they ran it that year. Didn't they end up winning state that year though?
They won it.
Yes.
Yeah, the 2016 season, I think.
They had a Big Ten quarterback, but the backup was a Penn State commit. And I remember listening at the clinic, and he's like, things aren't too bad when you get to replace them with that.
It was Sean Clifford.
Yeah, it was. That's that year. I don't know. It would be. It's interesting to see the change. I think that'd be my one thing, is somehow change this Columbus region up somehow, however it would be. And because honestly, it's fun and exciting when you get to play new teams. There's a little bit with our playoff system, how it is. I don't know. It feels really cool. There's an edge in the air when you're going to play a new team for the first time versus the same people that you've seen at 7-on-7s, and now you've seen them in scrimmages and things. And so I think that's something that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'd be in for it too, because it's like we said, we played Pick Central a second time this year. We played Gahanna in the past in the playoffs. Every year, we're just recycling the teams that play in the regular season.
Hey, the one idea that I thought was super cool that you brought up the one time, Nate, when we talked on the phone was like cutting the season down to 8 games only, though. And that eliminates 2 of your non-conference games and your non-league games. That helps shorten the season even. And then now if you get knocked out or you don't make the playoffs, you have weeks 9 and 10. If your kids really want to play football, you can schedule it with someone else that's not in, which I don't know how much was that idea actually passed around. Did they even think about that?
So the commissioner now, the OHSAA, he's a basketball guy. And I think that's what he's for, because football is the only sport where everybody doesn't make the playoffs. So every other sport, like you get in the playoffs, you get a chance to make a run and in the postseason. Being in the room, I was sitting in that room, it's never happening because ADs and head coaches, because so many people rely on those gates in the regular season for money. So I think a lot of the smaller schools are so against it. And then some of the leagues have 10-team leagues, so they need 9 weeks or they wouldn't be able to play all their games. And then some of them want to play their rivalry game and they have their schedules are all set. But I know one of the questions you guys just talking about, if we got to make whatever we wanted, I would shorten the regular season at least a game.
Yeah.
I think the worry about 12 is it would really be terrible to be Olentangy and be 8-2, and you have a loss in the non-league, I think, to Liberty, and then they lost one game in their league, and they don't get a chance to make a run in the playoffs. And I think they're playing pretty well. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, I've said this. I thought that COVID year where we played 7 games and it was straight to the playoffs was awesome. Nobody hit a wall. There was never a down moment. You played a game and then you were chasing a championship, right? And then it was boom, the playoffs. And so there was never
that year you could say that's what you were doing. We weren't doing that my first year at Northland. We weren't chasing no championship time.
Maybe it was a different experience.
Maybe it wasn't that cool.
It gave you a feeling of what a shorter season would be like, though. It never had that as a coach. You know what I mean? And so it just was a different model where this isn't bad. Like, you still have all these playoff games and you still have this, and we had a good season. But like, it opened my eyes to thinking like, hey, maybe there is something to not having a 10-game season.
Yeah.
That's what I would be for, that 100%. I think our athletic director would be for that, because so many teams too are struggling to find non-league games. Shorten the season. The really good thing about the COVID year too, it allowed teams to schedule games. So Northland, and I don't remember what you guys did. Did you guys schedule an extra game?
No, for the COVID year or whatever. So what we did was, remember we had the city league like championship too. So after every team in the city, we all got knocked out week 1 of the playoffs. So then we came together and we're like, all right, we want to keep playing football. Let's do a city league championship thing. And so we had 1 versus 1 on North and South play each other, and 2 versus 2 or 1 versus whatever. It was just a crazy bracket, which was super cool for us though, because we all got knocked out, and we could have did that last year too if the rules would have allowed us. But then that extends your season so much more and gets into basketball, gets into wrestling, just like you were saying. But yeah, I mean, like that year we did a whole tournament, which was super fun and super cool for our kids.
We've talked a little bit of what we might change with it. Coach, do you think with the changes happened, now you can look like college football playoffs, like you did the 12-year last year, and then boom, it took 1 year and they're already changing the format of it. Do you think this big change happens? Do you see another change in the next 3 to 5 years in the short term?
I think something could change. I think there's 2 possibilities, because Northeast Ohio, that senator, his whole thing was the season needed to shorten. The season didn't shorten. So if you're the 5 seed, you could still play 16 games. So it was all about safety. Hey, we can't have this many games, because you think about the smaller schools too. Like Kirtland's coach, Tiger Laverde, he's a big proponent of shortening the season. He's talking about his kids play both ways. You're thinking they play both ways, 16 games straight. You know, he told a story to the OHSA. His son didn't get to play basketball because he was so beat up, and the basketball season had already started. So I think there's still going to be discussion of do they shorten the season? And for that to happen, you need to take away a regular season game or cut the playoffs to 8. Or OHSAA, I think they're good money-wise, and I know Ryan's super involved with OHSAA. He has all the inside scoop there from
I'm not hearing none of that.
guys, but I think they're doing really money-wise. But if they need money, what are they going to do? They're going to add another round back to football.
I think my guy Ron just got a raise. He just moved into a fat house out in Apple Valley. I don't know what he's doing over there at OHSA.
Yeah,
It's
they
all our
cut back
playoff
and
gate
doing
money,
good.
bro. He's stealing it. Or it's all the money that Hillerich is paying him off for. So it's either one. Whatever one works. Nate, for you, though, like you were talking about, like in a perfect world for you, if you could just be perfect, so you would just go to shortening the season and everything and not shortening the playoffs to 8 games or 8 teams?
I was the –
You're the man right now. You're Doug. You're him.
And here's the thing. It would be an unpopular opinion because the Coaches Association would not be for this because they're not for shortening it. But for me personally, what I think would be best for kids and what I would enjoy is 8-game regular season, 16 teams in the playoffs. And then at some point, if you want to play 10 games, you can still play 10 games. So, and no disrespect to Newark because Coach Frank has their program rolling and they're doing well now. But that year, a lot of the teams that weren't winning, I think Westland and they're winning right now too. They got it going too. But Westland and Newark, I think, scheduled a game. They both hadn't won a game the COVID year, and they got to end on a positive note to go play a team. And so I would say, hey, 8-game regular season, 16 teams make it. And even if you're the 16 seed and you say, you know what, we don't want to play in the tournament, we want to go play Northland because we think we can get an easy win, go do that. You know what I mean? Like you can.
Okay,
You
need
sure.
to play Northland to get an easy win.
Don't forget, man, he's a snake. He's got that venom, man. He's spitting that venom right now.
I'll never forget that forever.
No,
Snaky Nate. Snaky Nate.
Any other schools?
No, Coach, I got one last question. I don't know if these guys might have.
I'm good, man. Let's make this the last one. Let's do it.
Last question for you really is going to be, how are you presenting the 12-team playoff? Are you presenting this to your kids? Are you talking about the playoff change to your athletes and telling them there's less teams get in now, or are you just rocking as is?
No, I think we're rocking as is. We go into it. We play, obviously, all the coaches speak one game at a time, but realistically, we break our season into our non-league. Then once non-league ends, let's go try to win the OCC. And then once that ends, let's go make a run at it in the playoffs. And our expectations, we expect to be playing come week 11. So with 12 teams, it makes it a little tougher now, though.
I'm not going to lie. I had one question. We let this slip, but there also was the change to now the first 3 games go to the higher seed, right? So your first three games used to be 2, so they added another extra home game. What was the move with that? Has that been because there's been such a hard time scheduling sites, neutral sites, that it just made it easier to do that?
Yeah, I think it saved money to pay a host site, and a lot of schools didn't want to host. I know they've had hard times finding.
It's gotten harder, I've heard, the last couple of years. So.
I'll tell you what, I'm all for that because, and I think you played at DeSales for playoff games, but we played Hilliard Bradley in the regional semis 2 years ago, and we played at DeSales, and we played Berlin there again this year. They get to host every year, and their parking is terrible, and the lighting is bad.
Yeah, lighting's bad.
We go out there. They played no pregame music. So we're playing in a regional semifinal. There's no pregame music. And it wasn't an experience. And I was talking to.
I think I told you that after the game at Berlin this year. Like, it felt weird at that stadium. When Barney and I walked in, we were both like, why does it feel like
nice cooler of drinks up in the press box, so they didn't have a lock on it. That got me a nice little free Mountain Dew during that game.
I heard they had couches up there. It's nice.
Oh, yeah. Heat, couches. I was feeling good up there, but it is dark. It is weird, but nothing will beat this game, Nate, when it was us in Pick Central at Newark.
Yeah,
that was
I was up in the press box, man. It's snowing and raining, and I'm just sitting on a concrete seat, and it's just getting pelted with all this snow and rain. I look out, and it's a traffic jam. People can't get in. The bands were 45 minutes late getting in. I could not believe. Now, the locker room, all that was fine, but I just could not believe that was the site for a game that big.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing. Barney and I have rocked with Nate through all his playoff runs and stuff because me and my boy TV usually get knocked out a little earlier than Hillerich does. But we went to the Newark one, and it legit took us 45 minutes just to get 1 mile down the road. And we had to park in a bar across the street, and we had to pay the bartender to not tow our car. It was crazy. We tipped them like $35 not to tow our car.
And that's that's where I think it's a great thing, because the two Pickeringtons playing, we should have been, if we were playing in Pickerington, everybody would have been there. If we go to Hilliard Bradley and play, the atmosphere would have been better. They'd have had more students there. I think it makes everything better if you can host another game. And then I think the regional final will be at a neutral site, and I know the Division I game will be at historic Crew Stadium, which I think is a cool place to play.
They changed where you're coaching from, or we still coaching from the 20-yard line?
You talking about up in the box?
Yeah.
The suites? Yeah, up that suite. I think they might have moved it down one. I think they're trying to make it better.
25, man. And nothing was better than being on the 20-yard line with a pillar in front of me, and then a bunch of high school kids snuck up into the suite next to us, and we're having a party up there in the mid-game. I'm like, what are we doing here? This is crazy. That's a perfect ending point. That's the playoffs in Ohio, baby. Ryan, wrap us up, man.
We appreciate everybody hopping on and listening, man. Nate, we truly appreciate all your insight and everything, because we know you're superly heavily involved, and you're just in honestly, I feel like you're in everything in Central Ohio football. You're involved with everything. So it's great to get you on the show and get your insight, because not only is it your insight, but you talk to everybody in this world. I swear to God, I'll never forget. We pulled up in Cincinnati at the Glacier. We get out the car at the gas station. Is that Nate Hillerich? We're like, bro, what? Do you remember that was Sned? When we pulled up in Cincinnati, we went to the Glacier Clinic. We got out the gas station. Someone was like, is that Nate Hillerich? And you're like, people know me everywhere. I was like,
I don't think I said that. But,
he definitely say something like
he
that.
He definitely said something like that. You know him, Kyle.
There's a lot of memories from that Glacier Clinic.
But he's everywhere. He's everywhere like a snake, man. You know
he's like a snake. He's everywhere. In every situation. That does fit him. I will give it to him. But we appreciate everybody listening, man. Make sure you download, subscribe. Make sure you let us know what you guys want to listen to, different speakers or different topics. But we appreciate all the support from everybody. And Coach Hillerich, best of luck this season. You say you start off with St. Ed's, right?
Yes, sir.
Tear them up. Good luck this season, man. And we'll be rooting for you.